Those of you who have been to camp, you can relate to this, and if you haven't, then you can probably imagine what I'm about to describe. It's late, you've just finished something fun, and it's dark, and you have to get back to your cabin, which is going to be some walk through the woods, and you don't have a flashlight. So, of course, what do? You find a friend or maybe a leader that has a flashlight or a headlamp, and you stick by them so that you can see where you're walking and tell where you're going and get back to your cabin without A, getting lost, which you might not anyway because there's paths, but that'd be one thing, or B, just like tripping over something because you can't see where you're going. Well, Jesus talks a little bit about this kind of an idea spiritually in today's 5-minute devotional from John chapter 8. Verses 12 through 20. Again, Jesus spoke to them, saying, I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will not walk in darkness, but will have the light of life. So the Pharisees said to him, You are bearing witness about yourself. Your testimony is not true. Jesus answered, Even if I do bear witness about myself, my testimony is true. For I know where I come from and where I am going, but you do not know where I come from or where I am going. You judge according to the flesh. I judge no one. Yet even if I do judge, my judgment is true. For it is not I alone who judge, but I and the Father who sent me. In your law it is written that testimony of two people is true. I am the one who bears witness about myself, and my Father who sent me bears witness about me. They said to him, therefore, Where is your Father? Jesus answered, You know neither me nor my Father. If you knew me, you would know my Father also. These words he spoke in the treasury as he taught in the temple, but no one arrested him because his hour had not yet come. So Jesus says, I am the light of the world, and whoever follows me will not walk in darkness. Can you see where I was going with that comparison to being at camp, maybe Camp Crosswoods? If you're walking in darkness, you might trip over something or get lost. And as we live in our city today, there's plenty of light, but out in the country and in the ancient world, man, if you're walking at night, it's pretty darn dark a lot of times, and you could get lost or you could get hurt. And Jesus said, this world is dark, and you can get lost and you can get hurt, but follow me, and I am the light of life, and you'll know where you're going. And you will not walk in darkness, but have the light of life. And he was saying this about himself in a very crowded part of the temple where people would bring their offerings, like not just like one church worth, but like a whole country's worth of offerings, people coming and going and putting their money in these different containers, huge containers that would be full of money, and people coming and going, and he's standing there and saying, I'm the light of the world. That's a big claim to be making about yourself, man. And so the religious authorities were like, we're going to need more evidence. This is a big thing to be saying. What do you have to back it up with? And Jesus answered, his first one is like, well, I know it's true. I know where I came from and where I'm going, but that's probably not going to be enough for you, because that's just me claiming it again. So even though you can only judge by the outward appearance according to the flesh, and I can judge what's true because I know things more than just their outward appearance, still, okay, here's another one. In your law, you need 2 witnesses, or 3. You've got me, Jesus says, you've got me, you've got my Father. He doesn't say God yet. He says his Father, which we know what he means. They might not know what he means. And he's going to have to expound on that a bit. And we're going to talk some other time probably about what witness God the Father gave about Jesus. But for now, they're just dismissing him, and they're actually maybe a little bit mean about it. They're like, where is your Father? Okay, so 1, that could be misunderstanding. But 2, you might remember that Jesus' mom was pregnant with him before his parents were married. Now, we know that was the Holy Spirit, but hey, I think it probably opened him up his whole life to being mocked about that situation and having someone say, hey, where's your dad? Like, what about your dad, eh? Probably was like a cheap shot they could give at him. But in any case, even though they were against him, nobody arrested him because it wasn't yet time for that to happen. But definitely not the end of confrontation, as we'll keep seeing in upcoming devotionals.